Okay, so we're gonna get started in supported fish. So come to a supine position. And if you do have a yoga block or two, they can be really helpful. If you don't have a block, grabbing a pillow or a bolster, something to put underneath the upper back so you're not laying flat on your back, or a rolled up blanket or towel, just anything that can support so you're not laying flat on the back. All right. And so, as always, I always share this in prenatal yoga to just protect the core stability and integrity of the core. When you come to your back, come to your side like you would in bed, and then roll to that supine position. It just alleviates some of that like outward pressure, outward abdominal pressure. And so if you do have your blocks, you want to place one on like the medium height and then one on the low height, kind of making a T shape. And so that taller block is going to go behind the head and the lower block like kind of at the shoulder blade area. I'm going to turn up, sorry, it looks a little dark. I want to make sure that, all right, I think that's a little bit better. Okay, if you don't have the blocks, again, rolling up a blanket, grabbing a bolster, a cushion, a pillow, just something that will prop up the back, because at this point, you know, it's not very comfortable to lie flat on the back. And then as you arrive here, you can either straighten the legs out or keep the knees bent, bringing the feet about hips width distance, maybe even knocking the knees together for that constructive rest pose that can alleviate some of that SI low back pain. Can feel a little bit better than bringing the legs straight out. All right, and so as you find your comfortable position here, and as always, if this isn't feeling comfortable, if you're not finding it for you tonight, feel free to stay seated. We're just going to start by kind of dropping into our breath here. So all of this can be done seated. But if you are on your back, find a comfortable place for the arms. Maybe if you want to open up the chest a little bit more, bringing the arms out to a T or cactus arms, goalpost arms. If that's too much, maybe bringing the hands to your baby space. If your arms are out to the side, you should really start to feel that stretching and opening in the front of the chest and shoulders. Can feel really nice. Giving us space to open up and take deep, profound breaths. I invite you to blink the eyes closed or bring your eyes to a soft gaze. And start to settle in here. Noticing the areas of your body that are making contact with the earth beneath you. And starting to scan the body. Noticing the muscles in the forehead, allowing them to soften and relax. Softening the eyelids, unclenching the jaw. And just scanning from top to bottom. Where can you soften? Where can you let go? After a long day, sitting upright at your desk or working or parenting, just taking this time to start to let all of your day, whatever that looked like, just wash away and focus on the breath. As you breathe in through the nostrils, filling up the chest, breathing down to your baby space, belly fills up. And as you exhale through the nostrils, allowing the belly to relax and soften, chest releases and softens. Inhale through the nostrils, filling up the belly, filling up the chest, allowing the pelvic floor to relax. And on the exhale, allowing everything to soften, emptying, emptying, emptying. Continue to cultivate your Ujjayi pranayama. That's the breath that sifts past the back of the throat as you breathe in and out through the nostrils. That ocean breath, the wave-like sounds of the breath. Make the breath audible. In this supported fish pose, we give our front body some space to really deepen the breath here. Opening the chest, opening the heart. Expanding. Taking one more breath here. And then start to settle in on an intention. An intention for your practice this evening, your pregnancy, your labor, parenting. It can be as micro or as macro as it needs to be for you this evening. Start to settle in if it's a phrase, maybe focus on one word of that intention. And on each exhale, just repeat it in your head. And any time throughout practice, if you find your thoughts begin to come back to your mind's eye, thoughts of later plans or your day before you came to your mat, just returning to that intention, that word, repeating it to yourself on the exhale. Continuing to soften the muscles in the face, softening, softening, letting go. Taking one more breath here. And on your next inhale, extend the left hand overhead, stretching overhead, and then start to roll to the left side of your body, just gently moving any props, shifting the body off of any props that you have set up. Pausing here for a breath, maybe sending a message, loving message to baby. And then start to bring the hands to the floor, pressing yourself up. We're going to come into downward facing dog to start. So just, you can swing the legs around, maybe coming to a tabletop position first before tucking the toes, lifting the hips, and finding your first downward facing dog. And so as you arrive here, maybe pedaling the heels, bending and straightening the knees, Spreading fingertips out nice and wide. We really want to imagine pressing the hands into the mat away from the floor, so to keep that shoulder stability. And untuck the tailbone, lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And maybe your knees stay bent here. Maybe the feet come a little bit wider than hips width to make space for a baby. Taking one more breath here. And then start to walk the hands to the back of the mat to meet the feet, finding your forward fold. So as baby starts to take up more space, you need more space to fold forward. So feet might be as wide as your mat here. You might have the knees bent. I like to have blocks nearby, especially if you're experiencing any indigestion or nausea. Propping the hands up on blocks ahead of you to come to like downward facing dog arms can be really nice here. Or they can come to the floor always if you don't have blocks. But continue to untuck the tailbone here. Dropping the neck. If that feels accessible, maybe shaking the head yes and no. And again, the knees can stay as bent as you need here. Making space for baby, finding your fit, and knowing that forward fold may feel different each week of your practice, each day, as baby continues to grow. Taking one more breath here. And on the next inhale, halfway lift, hands come to the shins or thighs. Exhale, hands to hips, hug around baby. Engage the core. Inhale, rising up to stand. And as you exhale, firm the thighs, tailbone anchors down. Really hug around baby here. Nice and strong core. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up overhead. And as you exhale, hands come through heart center, bringing your hands to your baby space. Take 3 breaths here. As you inhale, filling up. And as you exhale, hug around baby, pulling navel to spine. All right. Blink the eyes open if they aren't already. Take your thumbs and hook them together to make like a W shape. And as you inhale, extend your arms overhead. Exhale, side bend to the left. To the right. Either way, we'll do both sides. Keeping the heels grounded. So if you start to feel your heel lift up, maybe come back a little bit with the side bend. One breath here, tailbone is tucked under, engaging the core. And then coming back to center, switch your grip, so opposite thumb on top. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, side bend to the other side. Feeling the opening from the underarm all the way down to the hip. One more breath here. Come back to center, release the hands, maybe shake out the wrists. Can get a little tight, maybe it's even circling the wrists out. A lot of us at our desks, at our computers, start to articulate the fingers one at a time. Yeah. Taking one more breath here. All right, spread the feet out wide, toes turned out to the side. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up overhead. And as you exhale, hands through your center, coming down to Malasana. So you can stay lifted in modified Malasana, especially if you're experiencing any of that pubic symphysis pain. This may feel better. All right, or coming all the way down into full Malasana, arms make contact with the inside of the legs. Thumb against chest, chest pushes out into the thumbs, opening up the heart space. Outer edges of the feet are sealed to the ground, and you can always bring a block or a blanket or a bolster underneath the sitting bones here. One more breath. All right, start to walk the hands out, finding your way into a tabletop position. So coming to hands and knees here, spreading fingertips wide, wrists are stacked under the shoulders, knees are stacked under the hips. Hug around baby, your gaze should be at the space in between your hands, maybe a few inches in front. Hugging around baby, so navel comes to spine, strong core. And we're gonna move through cat and cow. So as we mentioned in the check-in, keeping this controlled, setting up a boundary here. So not just dropping and dipping without any control. We still wanna hug around baby and keep the core tight while we're moving through these tilts. So on the inhale, start to lift the hips, the heart, the gaze. And as you exhale, curve the spine, come into cat, tailbone tucks, chin to chest. Inhale, cow tilt, hips, heart, and gaze lift. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow tilt. Exhale, cat tilt. We're going to continue pressing the fingertips into the floor, pressing away to keep that shoulder stable, and keep moving with your breath. So as you inhale, filling up the front body, and then as you exhale, emptying, curving the spine. Finding your flow, your rhythm, moving intuitively. Noticing the breath here as we pair the breath with the movement, finding that wave-like sound of the breath, and maybe creating that wave-like shape with the spine. So initiating the movement from the pelvis, and then rolling up and down the spine so the crown of the head is the last to fall into the posture. Let's do 2 more here. Continuing to hug around baby. All right, and now we're going to introduce some hip circles. So continuing to move with the breath, but starting to move the hips and the head in a circle. As we inhale, coming into that cow tilt, which is introducing that other dimension of movement, bringing the side body into play here. You can keep the circles in and tight, or maybe it feels good to kind of bend the elbows and sit back and make some bigger circles here. So feeling what feels good for you in your body, your baby this evening, this moment. One more in this direction. And then just switch to the opposite direction. Continuing to press the floor away with your hands, almost like you're clawing your fingertips into the mat and the palm of your hand into the mat. Engaging the core, so the top of the feet press into the mat, pressing the shins into the mat, keeping the core engaged. One more. And then find your neutral spine. All right, on the next inhale, extend the right foot to the back of the mat, tuck the toes under, and start to just rock back and forth here. Starting to awaken the back of the legs, maybe hearing some cracks and pops in the ankle. And then come to stillness, hug around baby, and start to extend the left hand forward, opposite hand forward. You can keep the foot at the mat or start to lift the foot coming into sunbird. So hugging around baby here, strong belly, strong back. Inner thighs squeeze in towards the midline here, nice and active, pressing the right hand away from the floor. You got this. One more breath here. All right, bring the hand down to the mat, lower the foot, keep it extended. We're gonna open up to the right side for side plank. So keep the left hand grounded and then open up the right hand to the right side of the mat and plant the right foot so the toes are facing the long edge of the mat. You can keep the arm overhead or bring it to the hip or maybe bring it all the way to the right ear. Gaze can be up, out, or down. Hugging around baby, staying here, or maybe lifting that leg if that feels appropriate for you this evening. Wherever you are, strong belly, strong back, strong arm. One more breath. If the leg is lifted, just gently place the foot down. We're going to cartwheel the arms, so lifting the chest. And we're going to come into kind of a half Malasana here. So again, for those of you having pubic symphysis pain, if this doesn't feel great for you, you can stay lifted with that leg up, with the leg bent. Or if it feels okay, coming down to sit on the left heel. So you can either stay lifted or come down. If you're down, if you're sitting at the heel, bring the right hand to the inside of the right leg and extend the left arm overhead. And you can do this as well if you're in that kickstand, kind of a kneeling posture. You can also bend to the side. Again, always listening in what feels right for you and your body in this moment. We're going to get into a little bit of a flow here. So inhale to prepare. And on the exhale, we're going to come back into your side plank. Inhale, cartwheel the arm overhead. Exhale, sitting back on the foot or in that kneel. Inhale, arm overhead. Exhale, coming into your side plank. And inhale, arm overhead, stretching the side body. Exhale, sitting down. Inhale, arm overhead. Let's do one more round of that. Exhale, coming to the side plank. Inhale, arm overhead, extending to the side. Exhale, sitting down. And inhale, arm overhead. All right, let's just come back to that tabletop position. So bringing both hands to the front of the mat, taking a moment to wag the tail, bringing the hips side to side here. Awesome. When you're ready, coming to stillness and extending the left foot to the back of the mat, coming into sunbird on the left side. So start to just move front and back, hearing those cracks and pops in the ankle. And then when you're ready, coming to stillness here. Noticing the right shin and the top of the right foot, pressing them into the mat, pressing that left hand into the mat as you extend right arm forward, keeping the foot grounded or lifting it up sunward. Wherever you are, hugging around baby, inner thighs squeezing together, sending energy from your right fingertips all the way through to your left heel, and breathing here. One more breath. Hand to the mat, left foot to the mat, and then opening up side plank. So grounding that left foot down, so toes are facing the long edge of the mat. And then left arm can stay overhead, to the ear, or to the hip. You are the decider. Gaze is up, out, or down. Stay here, or lifting the leg. Wherever you are, hugging around baby, pressing the hand away from the mat. Aware that you're breathing in and aware that you're breathing out. If the foot is lifted, gently place it back on the floor. Cartwheel the arms open, and then we're going to come into that kind of half Malasana. Again, if you're feeling any too much pelvic pressure or pubic symphysis pain, stay up here, stay in this kneeling position, and you can always do a side bend here if that feels appropriate, or forearm to the thigh. Coming to the seated half Malasana, if that feels good. Left arm inside the left leg, and extend the right arm overhead. Pressing arm into leg, leg into arm to really open up the chest to the sky, just peeling away here. One more breath. All right, moving into our little flow here. So inhale to prepare. As we exhale, coming back to that side plank. Inhale, arm overhead, reaching open. Exhale, sitting back. Inhale, arm overhead. Exhale, side plank. Inhale, arm overhead. Exhale, sitting back. And inhale, arm overhead, moving with your breath. Exhale, side plank. Inhale, circle the arm open. Exhale, sitting down. And inhale, arm overhead. All right, from here, just cartwheel the arms to come back to the front of the mat. Taking a moment to wag the tail here. And then spread the knees to the width of your mat. Feet stay together. Come into child's pose. So lots of options here. Again, if you're feeling any, if you don't want to come all the way down to the mat, you can always bring forehead to a block, or maybe even hands to blocks to stay lifted. Bringing a rolled up towel or blanket underneath the hips if you're feeling a little tight in the hamstrings. Maybe bringing hands to, or forehead to stacked hands. Wherever you are, allowing baby to kind of rest in that hammock shape of the belly. If your arms are extended in front of you, pressing the hands into the mat to really press the hips back. Taking 2 more breaths here. Okay. Bring the hands in, come to hands and knees, and then tuck the toes, lift the hips, finding your way into downward facing dog. Taking one breath here. And then walking the hands to meet the feet at the back of the mat, forward fold. Your fit, your fold. Taking 2 breaths here. Untucking the tailbone. On your next inhale, halfway lift, hands come to the shins or thighs. Exhale, hands to hips, hug around baby, strong core. Inhale to rise up. And exhale, firm the thighs, anchor the tailbone down, hug around baby. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up overhead. And as you exhale, hands come to your heart center, come through your heart center, hands to your baby space. Take one breath here. All right. We're gonna come into our Shopsy Squats. So if you have a block or something to squeeze in the inner thighs, grab it. Also, if you have a strap or something that you can use as a strap, a belt, a dog leash, a scarf even, something that you can tie around the outer edge of the thighs. If you don't have it, don't worry, but have it nearby as an option. Particularly for some of you who were saying some of that SI joint pain was bothering you and that low back pain, the strap can be helpful here. So we'll do both. We'll start with the block, or again, whatever you were using as a block. And you can put it on the narrow or middle width, depending on your body structure. You want to be able to squeeze it with your feet about hips width distance. So if it's feeling like you can't really squeeze here, then maybe switching it, depending on your body structure. All right, so wherever you are, whatever you have in between the legs, we want to be squeezing in on our squats. As we inhale, we're going to be sitting back, letting the pelvic floor relax. And as we come up, we're going to be continuing to squeeze that block, pelvic floor, exhale, pelvic floor lifts. All right, so I'm going to turn to the side, feet are about hips width distance, and we'll do a couple here, and then we'll switch to the strap if you choose. All right, inhale, sitting back in your chair. Exhale, squeezing in and up, 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 up. Inhale, sitting back, pelvic floor relaxes. Exhale, squeezing in and up, pelvic floor contracts. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, like you're sitting back in a really short chair. Exhale, squeezing in and up, 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 up. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do 2 more here. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. All right. You can stick with the block if that felt good. Or grab a strap, a scarf, something that you can tie around the outer thighs. And again, you want it to be kind of tight, so feet are still hips width distance. And straps and scarves, they can give, so we want to make sure it's nice and tight, so as we're pressing out, we have a little wiggle room here. All right, so if you're using the block, same that we just did. If you're using the strap, this time I want you pressing out into the strap, okay? Keeping the feet about hips width distance, but pressing the thighs out. All right, let's go. Inhale, sitting back. Exhale, pressing out, squeezing in and up, up, up with the pelvic floor. Inhale, sitting back. Exhale. Inhale, sitting back, pelvic floor relaxes. Inhale, thighs press out, pelvic floor in and up. Inhale, sitting back. Exhale. 2 more like this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right. Whatever props you have, just remove them. Strap blocks. Step them to the side. All right. And then come to the back of your mat. Feet spread wide. Toes turned out. Inhale, circle the arms down, around and up. And exhale, Malasana, modified, staying up high or full, coming down. Taking 2 breaths here. All right, start to walk the hands out, finding downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling out the feet. Pressing the hands into the mat. Stabilizing the shoulder. Tailbone untucks, lifting up towards the ceiling. All right, shift your gaze to your hands and bring your right thumb to meet your left. And bring that right foot forward to the outside of your right hand. You can take as many steps as you need to get there. And we're gonna plant that back foot at a 45-degree angle and start to rise up, warrior 1. So bringing the hands to the thighs, and then bringing the arms overhead. So feet do not have to be on the same track here. We really want them to be kind of diagonal from one another, offsetting the hips. Right hip crease back, left hip crease forward. And that outer edge of the left foot is gonna plant down. Hugging around baby here, feeling the strength in the pelvis, strength in the thighs supporting. Shoulders away from the ears. And breathe. All right, we're gonna transition into warrior 3. So I want you to start walking that back leg forward, and we're gonna tilt forward, coming into a balanced posture. So keeping that bend in the front knee, we wanna start to shift the weight, and then letting that back foot fly, warrior 3. As always, if you're feeling like you need some more support, maybe bringing the hands to a wall if you have one close by. Maybe trying to make that T shape with the body, finding a spot on the floor, a couple feet in front of your right foot. Hugging around baby here. 1 more breath. Start to bend that front knee, and we're gonna come into warrior 2. So find a wide stance, back leg all the way back, coming into warrior 2. Beautiful. So checking your alignment here, arms are nice and wide, feeling some strength and fire and heat building in the arms here. Back foot is facing, the back toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Front foot is facing forward. Shoulders away from the ears. And let's flow a little bit. As you inhale, straighten that front knee, arms overhead. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, coming up, rising up. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior 2. 1 more, inhale. Exhale. Flip the front hand, back arm to the back leg. Inhale, reverse your warrior, keeping a bend in the front knee. And as you exhale, cartwheel the arms, side angle. Forearm can come to the thigh, or if you have a block nearby, maybe placing it behind that front foot. Lots of options here for arms. First, I want everyone to bring the left hand to the sacrum and press the sacrum into that hand, kind of bringing the left hip forward a bit, keeping a bend in the front knee. And then from here, you can keep that hand at the sacrum, maybe bringing it overhead, maybe bringing it to a half bind, so bringing it behind the low back and bringing it to the right hip crease. Bottom hand can stay out, or maybe bringing it to your baby space. And I like to have a little neck release here, so dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. Coming into whatever version of this posture suits you. Continuing to breathe here. Feeling the strength as you press your feet into the mat, holding up the rest of your body. Strengthen the thighs, strengthen the pelvis and hips. Feeling the stretch on the left side of your neck if you're in neck release. One more breath here. All right, if you're twisted up like me, just start to unfurl the arms, bringing the hands to the inside of the right foot. Start to turn that back heel forward, drop the knee, coming into tabletop. Taking as many steps as you need to get there. Start to wag the tail. And then when you're ready, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, downward facing dog. Aware that you're breathing in and aware that you're breathing out. Shift your gaze to your hands. Walk the left thumb to meet the right thumb this time, and then bring the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Again, taking as many steps as you need to get there. You know we're heading into warrior one. So start to plant that back foot at a 45-degree angle, and then walk the hands up the thighs. Extend the arms overhead, warrior one. Hug around baby. Nice bend in the front knee, back leg is straight. Right hip crease forward, left hip crease back. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, soften the muscles in your face, maybe even smile. All right, let's start to shift into warrior three. So looking forward, bending that front knee, walking the back foot forward, and tilting the upper body forward as you lift the right foot, warrior three. Rooting down in that left foot, that left leg, finding balance, finding stillness here. And maybe you wobble a little bit more on this side versus the other, or vice versa. That's normal. Each side has its unique tendencies. One may be slightly stronger than the other. And start to bend that right foot. And when you're ready, coming into warrior two. So coming into that wide stance, cartwheel the arms open. Nice and strong. Feeling the heat building again in the shoulders and the arms. Keep with it. Shoulders relax away from the ears. Let's flow. Inhale, rising up, straighten the front knee, arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Flip the front hand, reverse your warrior as you inhale. Keep the bend in the front knee. And as you exhale, cartwheel the hands, cartwheel the arms, side angle. Again, you can bring that left forearm to the thigh or maybe down to a block or the floor. Top arm, right arm, bring it to the sacrum. Again, press the sacrum into the hand, bringing the right hip forward, the inner thigh, the right inner thigh rotates inward. From here, you can keep that right hand at the sacrum, or maybe bringing it overhead, or to a half bind, bringing to the left hip crease. Right hand can stay out, or bring it to your baby space. And if you'd like to come into that neck release, just dropping the left ear to the left shoulder. Hunkering in here, sending breath to any areas that you need to soften. Feeling the strength of the legs, feeling the stretch on the right side of the neck. Feeling the chest expand with each breath. One more breath here. Shift your gaze to the front foot, bringing those hands to the inside of the left foot, turning the right foot in, dropping the knee, coming into tabletop. Wagging the tail. All right. We're going to be coming into our pigeon poses. Options, if pigeon is feeling too much, pubic symphysis pain or sciatica, sometimes it can exacerbate. You can come into supine figure 4 and I'll show that. But if you're coming into pigeon, I would definitely have a block or a blanket nearby. And you can come into it from hands and knees or from downward facing dog. So I'll cue this first and then I'll go into the supine if you choose that option. So from here, coming into downward facing dog or in hands and knees, we want to bring the right shin forward. We're trying to bring it as parallel as you can with the front of the mat. Back foot stays tucked as you get set up. Bringing right hip crease forward, right hip crease back, left hip crease forward. And then you can start to untuck the foot. I like to bring a rolled up blanket or towel underneath the right hip here, because to kind of close the gap between the floor and the hip. Or a block can work great. If you have a pillow or a cushion nearby, maybe starting to fold forward and laying down on that pillow. Or you can just come to the forearms or extend the arms forward. Pigeon. So as you settle in there, kind of settle into stillness. Option, if that is feeling too intense, we still want to stretch the outer hip. You can come to the back, bending the right knee, bringing the right ankle to left thigh, staying here, or hugging the left thigh in for that figure 4 stretch. So a little bit gentler. Sometimes baby can get in the way here. So you may have to do some adjusting, but this is a great option if pigeon is feeling too intense for you. Wherever you are, settling into stillness here in this hip opening posture. Allowing any areas of the body that are making contact with the earth just to get a little heavy. Taking one more breath here. And then start to, if you're in pigeon, pressing the hands up, lifting the chest. And then starting to find your way back into tabletop, taking a moment to wag the tail. If you're in that supine figure four, you can stay on your back and just knock your knees from side to side, like windshield wiper the knees to release the hips. All right, now side two. So again, if you're going into pigeon, coming into it from hands and knees or up in downward facing dog. This time the left leg comes forward. Right hip crease forward, left hip crease back. Same as the other side, maybe placing a blanket or towel or block under that left hip. Releasing the toes, the right toes. And then you can stay lifted or start to fold forward. Always have the option to come into that supine figure four. And so if you were on your back for the first time, just switch to the opposite leg. So left ankle to the right thigh. And then you can stay with the right thigh bent, or excuse me, right leg bent, or you can start to hug in the right thigh for a deeper stretch. Wherever you are, start to settle in. Maybe noticing as you continue to breathe, maybe you can find just a little bit deeper of a stretch. Where can you soften? Where can you open? Taking one more breath wherever you are. If you're in pigeon, pressing the hands away from the mat, lifting the chest, coming into hands and knees and wagging the tail. If you're in supine on your back, you can knock the knees from side to side, and you can stay on the back because we're going to meet you there. And so as you're ready, if you were in pigeon, start to come to the left side of your body. And then we're gonna meet on our backs. And actually, I lied. We're gonna stay on the left side. My apologies. So stay on the left side, and we wanna stack our hips here. So if you look, kind of glance down towards your hips, we want our right hip to be directly over the left and right knee to be directly over the left. All right, you might feel a little wobbly back and forth, that's normal. And bring the left arm, if it's not already underneath of the left ear. We're gonna do some hip strengthening, some clamshells. So seal the inner ankles together. And then we're gonna come into clamshells with lifting the right knee and then lowering the right knee. All right, let's go ahead. Open and close. Open and close. We're going to do this 5 more times. We're kind of making that diamond shape, strengthening the outer hips. Two more here. All right, open and keep it open here. And pulse. Pulse that right knee. Again, sealing the ankles together, pulsing the right knee down, not all the way down, just about 1/3. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then keep it open. 3 deep breaths here. You can do it. Feeling the fire, feeling the heat here. All right, and release. Start to roll to your back. We're gonna come into bridge pose before we do the other side, and then we will come into our relaxation. All right, so from here, you can have props nearby for bridge. So if you, when we were in our squats, if you really liked the block in between the legs, squeezing in, grab a block or whatever you used as a block. If you liked the pressing out, grab your strap. Or this can be done without any props as well. But those can be helpful. Again, the block to squeeze in if you're having any of that pubic symphysis pain, and the strap can be helpful for that SI low back pain. All right, let's come into our bridge. So feet are about hips width distance apart and bringing the heels close to the sitting bones. And then when you're ready, pressing the feet into the mat, lifting the hips, bridge. We really want to focus on the legs here. So trying to relax the glutes and really pressing the feet into the mat as we lift the hips, finding the strength in the thighs and the pelvis. This gentle inversion, the strengthening posture. Focusing on the breath. It's a great place to focus on some of that pelvic floor work, that core conscious breath as you inhale, pelvic floor relaxes. And as you exhale, pulling in and up, pelvic floor contracts. If you have that block squeezing in, if you have that strap pressing out, noticing what feels more natural or easier for you, the relaxing of the pelvic floor or the contracting and engaging of the pelvic floor. Just taking note, both are equally important. One more breath here, the relaxing, the engaging. And start to roll the spine down, vertebra by vertebra. All right, remove any props. We're almost to the finish line here. Roll to the right side of your body, right arm overhead. Same thing, our hips are stacked and our knees are stacked. So checking, glancing down, if you can still see your knees past your bum. Left knee is stacked on the right knee. And we're gonna come into those clamshells. All right, so taking or sealing the ankles together, opening up, lifting the knee and down. Open and down. Continue moving the knee. Inhale and exhale. Three more. All right, keep it lifted and pulse. Feeling the fire, feeling the heat. 3, 2, and 1. Keep the knee open. 3 breaths here. You can do it. And release. Bring the knee in, rolling to the back, maybe knocking the knee side to side. All right. Oh, I'm noticing the time. We're running a couple minutes over. So if you need to go, I definitely encourage you to take some time for some rest, whether it's now or a little bit later. But if you can stay, we will go into our Shavasana for a few minutes. So like I said in the beginning of class, lots of options here. If you have wall space, legs at the wall is a great choice. I'm not close to the wall right now, but I can show you bringing up a block or a blanket, something to set under the sacrum so you're not like flat on your back. I'll show just kind of in midair, but imagine I have a wall right here. And then walking the legs up the wall, so imagine my wall is on the back of my legs. This is great for bringing swelling away from the ankles, kind of redistributing everything back to center. And whatever prop you have underneath the sacrum, you kind of want the tailbone to kind of hang off just a little bit, so it can kind of untuck and the pelvic floor can relax. So about like, 2 to 3 inches away from the wall, that block should be set up, block, prop, whatever you have. Arms can come out or to the belly. So that's one option. If you don't have wall space nearby, you can come into a left side lying posture, bringing pillows, blankets, covering up with whatever you need to get comfy. And then we have reclined Shavasana. So if you want to stack up a pillow, or if you have your blocks, kind of making a little ramp with a pillow, a cushion, you can come into this reclined Shavasana. Legs can be bent or straight out, or you can come into Malasana, so soles of the feet together, knees out. This can feel really lovely, and maybe bringing something under the knees to keep it supported so you're not kind of just splaying out too far. I'll show one more prop and then I will get quiet. If you are in that reclined Shavasana with the knees out, the use of a strap can feel really lovely too. Around the low back, kind of making a little loop around the low back and the outside of the ankles. Kind of just give a little boundary there. Wherever you have settled into your final resting pose, allow yourself to get heavy, allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm, no effort or control. Taking this ever important time to drink in all of the benefits from your practice this evening. As you nourish your body, your mind, your spirit, your connection to baby, through movement, through breath. So as you continue to rest here, I'll read the card that was pulled this evening, which is Kuan Yin. the Eastern goddess who hears all prayers and is the essence of purity, nurturing love, and gentle power. This youthful and beautiful goddess helps us feel compassion and mercy towards ourselves and to others. She's a protectress of women and children. So a message from Kuan Yin. Gentleness is the strength behind true power, and it comes from feeding yourself with nourishing words, thoughts, deeds, intentions, and all forms of food. Shield yourself from harshness by placing an intention to attract only kind and gentle life lessons and relationships. Transform harshness into gentleness by refusing to see anything but the shining light that's within each person and situation. This intention begins with your relationship with yourself. Be very gentle with yourself in all ways. Be happy, be kind, be sweet, but most of all, be true to you. An ever important message. Giving yourself grace, being gentle with yourself. It's especially important during pregnancy and parenting in a pandemic. Start to bring your awareness back into your body as you wiggle fingers and toes. And in your own time, no rush, rolling to the left side of your body, coming up to a comfortable seated position. Again, taking your time to get there, keeping your eyes closed. As we meet in this comfortable seat, bring one hand to your baby space and one hand to your heart space. As we close our practice, I'd like to end in gratitude. Gratitude to yourself for giving yourself this time and space to nourish your body, mind, spirit, baby, connection to this growing life. Gratitude, sending gratitude to yourself, your body, which is doing so much right now. And I send gratitude to all of you for trusting me to guide you in this practice. Let's take one final breath together. Inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up. And as you exhale, bringing the hands to your third eye center in prayer seal. Keep peace in your mind, strength in your body, and love in your heart. Until next time, be well. Thank you all. I know we ran a little bit over. It tends to happen in the shorter class. So I appreciate you guys being flexible. And as always, this, and I'll stop recording.